Well, thank you, Pascal. Thanks for the introduction. I'm honored to be concluding this presentation because I see all flustered faces. It's quite warm in here by now. Well, hopefully my topic will still interest many of you. When I woke up this morning and I turned on my phone, I read the news, and one of the headings was saying that here in the Netherlands, we now receive more international students than ever. So hence my topic is quite timely. Yes, that's a good start, right? Can I see hands? How many of you have been trained in abroad in an international context? So that's about half of the audience. Okay. As a trained physiotherapist, I graduated about 20 years ago and I decided to travel and work abroad. I worked in Costa Rica and I can still remember the first day when I came there and I got off the bus in a small city just in the north of the country. And I was received by a lady who walked up to me and said, "Hello, Miriam, my name is..." And she was Flemish. She talked to me my own language, and I still can feel that relief because my Spanish was really, well, non-existing by then. I worked there for a year and I adjusted to my work as a physiotherapist, not only language-wise, but also contextual-wise. It was quite a challenge. Imagine you're 22, it's your first job in a rehabilitation center, and there's lots of factors that influence on your daily practice and behavior. Well, I've traveled a lot since then. I've worked in different countries, and I ended up becoming a lecturer at the European School of Physiotherapy in Amsterdam, where I've been working since the last 10 years. 2 years ago, I decided to complete my Master in Health Professions Education. A couple of my fellow students have already presented today, and some others might be watching. And in my current job, I'm a clinical coordinator for international students. So my interest of these topics really suiting me, I think, as a professional as well as a person. What is the problem here? Is there a problem actually in international placements? I guess globalization, Noor already mentioned, is upcoming, and it's a normal thing nowadays. Yet it might bring differences in learning, in a learning context. We all know that workplace learning is dependent on interaction, it's dependent on contextual factors. So there's a lot of things that are making it quite a complex situation for learners, for students. I work in a faculty where we have nursing, we have occupational therapy, physiotherapists, and exercise therapists. And we're next to the academic medical center, so the medical students also engage in international placements. That already defines my setting. I would like to focus on allied health professionals, plus maybe even the medical students involved in one of the studies. What I'd be interested in is to see how this period of adjustment, mainly the initiation of workplace learning, so there's of course, as I described, you start somewhere, you're unfamiliar with the learning environment, you need to know about local rules, rules of practice, safety issues, there might be ethical things that are different from a cultural perspective. How does that influence on the level of participation of the student, right? And how, in this initiation of workplace learning, can students actually actively engage in practice? Because we believe that's a prerequisite for learning. And hence, initiation phase is crucial for actual engagement in practice. So the purpose of my research would be to investigate workplace learning in international healthcare settings. That goes for a multidisciplinary range of students, with a special focus on student participation during the initiation in practice. I base my research on social learning theory, the communities of practice, I guess we all can imagine how, for example, a healthcare clinic is sort of a community of practice. You have to deal with other healthcare professionals. You have a local support network, hopefully, maybe peer students, peer interns. So there's all types of interactions going on. This local community also has its own rules and regulations to go by. Some of them will be explicit, others might be implicit. So how does that all influence on the fact that students can actually engage with the team, engage with patient care, and other things that are important to, to stimulate learning. I also look into the ETR framework by Pim Teunissen, who's also one of my supervisors in this project. Pim describes how individual experiences lead to multiple pathways over time, and how from those pathways and from those experiences people conceptualize things and reifications occur. So if you take the bigger picture, I would be interested to see how students involving in different international or local placements create pathways throughout their educational careers and where they end up and how. So the international placements actually might steer their career path or their learning trajectories during the education. The main research questions, I haven't written all 4 of them down, but I think this captures the essence of it. What are the most influential factors on healthcare students' learning during this initiation of practice? And how does it affect their learning trajectories over time? Because my own experience back then in Costa Rica worked in 2 ways. Basically, my enthusiasm for international learning environments grew. It could also work the other way around. And then how would it lead to the next step in your trajectory or path towards the end of your educational program? The beeper already went off. So if any one of you is interested, feel free to contact me. I'm really looking forward to embark on this journey with Eric, Pim, and Robert. Thank you.